Good evening. Today is March the 19th, and I'm going to continue with the same train of thought yesterday. What are we allowing in? What are we feeding on? Um, we're warned through God's Word that we have to be cautious on what we allow to come in and feed at our table. We're not supposed to put pearl before swine. Okay. Um, 2 Corinthians 3:18 tells us that, being raised from glory to glory, are you seeking to please God, or are you seeking to please the flesh? We have to think about that. We have to put into God's hands our entire life and everything that we do. Otherwise, we're going to wind up spinning our wheels a lot. When we put God in charge, put Him in control, then you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, you're going to have times where you might struggle a little bit, or you're going to be tested. All that's just part of it. Okay, you're going to go through that in life, period. But once we surrender to God and learn to trust in Him and wait on Him, that makes all the difference in the world. So we have to think, okay, who are we allowing into our lives? Are they coming in? And, I've seen people, and I used to be one of them, that would say it was a joke or that it was meant as comedy, but it would hurt somebody's feelings. Okay, well, if it's comedy, it's not supposed to hurt anybody's feelings. We have to be careful of what our motive is. Okay, we have to remember that we're going to have to answer for how we live and for what we say. So, God has blessed us, especially living in this time, to see the changes that are taking place, good and bad. Of course, we shouldn't be surprised by the bad. We are told in the Bible that this was coming. People were going to fall away. You have social media attacking from every angle, telling people, oh, you just need to enjoy life and don't worry about that God thing. That's not real. It's continually tearing down the belief in God and Jesus. But see, that's the whole point of it. Because if they can separate you from God, then they've got you for eternity. So, we have to be cautious on what we're allowing at our table, who we're given to talk to our ear, the type of advice that we're getting from these people. You need to put godly people around yourself. People that are going to raise God's word. I tell people all the time, if what you're teaching doesn't align with God's word in the Bible, then you have a problem. So, but, just think about it. What are you allowing in your home, your life, your mind? Is there things that you need to get rid of? That's a good possibility. I had to do that several years back. Stuff that I used to think, oh, that's no big deal, no harm. Movie is just a movie on DVD. But the more I studied into that, I realized just how dangerous it was. So, anyway, I pray blessings over each and every one of you. I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.